Sorry, everybody, did this make it better? Sorry for the long wait. I actually forgot where I left off yesterday and, well, kind of today. With that said, let's get back into it. It was over at the beach scene, and they're enjoying. The moment that Shin protected the girls and the wise man did as well, the guru scolded the two girls that did the attack, accidentally almost hitting them, and were put in timeout for most of the time. When they got back in, everybody enjoyed it. Now, at this time, Shin and Deku was not in the game. They were more of the referees until one of them offered if they would like if we should play along. And Shin was on the fence about it, and Zuko said, "Come on, we already prepared everything for our attacks not to go overboard." And Shin agreed to it. But now, since everybody else have overheard their conversation, started to get scared and chose to get out of the area. So they get right behind of the guru and the wise man and just prepare themselves for a epic fight. Zuko and Shin have their auras shooting out around them in flaming blue aura, just like how Shin is. And for Zuko, it's the same thing, but more of a dust storm around him. They get over to their respected areas. Shin was the first to go, and everybody gets prepared to watch a huge fight to occur. Until they were sadly mistaken. Both Zuko and Shin started to play normally. No magic, no enhancements, no spells, nothing. They just kept tossing the ball regularly. And it was entertaining, of course, because they're very athletic and strong. But everybody was disappointed not being able to see them, well, go all out, per se. So that was a funny tidbit. Now, moving on to the next scene. Like in my last part, this time they're in their uniforms. I believe I have a picture. Alright, found them. So it shows everybody is wearing them, and they're somewhat complaining about the outfits and how tight they are, until Shin explained all the added properties and enhancements onto the clothing where it will keep you warm in the winter, keep you cool in the summer, and this other stuff. Even the scene of one of the girls, one in the orange hair, starting to let her girls breathe. And of course, Thor and one of the other kids, I believe was Bean, was watching in amazement. Respectfully, of course. But after all of that, Zuko and Shin offers to take them to an area. They were about to leave, and one of them, well, I forgot his name, but the prince asked if it's something having all of this clothing, it must be something very dangerous. And Shin said, "You're right, it's something very dangerous." Which some of them get scared, which Zuko come in and see, "Oh, you guys are ready? Let's go. I got everything prepared for our flight." Now Zuko was having everybody comes by, and Shin is just telling everybody that they're going to be strong enough to go. Half of the class has already left, but the other rest get to see the scene of Shin, showing a certain magic item to the little girl, and the guru gets mad at him throughout this whole time. So yeah, after he put it on a statue in a very funny way, they finally leave. Moving on to the next scene, Zuko and Shin is carrying their respectful classmates up in the sky all the way to a certain area. Now, when they're in their area, Zuko already gave Shin all the beasts from the lowest to highest monsters in there, the ones that's taken over. Shin thanks him and went towards one of the strongest, one of them. As for the team of the ones that are very weak and not very strong with fighting tactics, and they did the thing. Shen tells them to fight against this beast, and they won't need to worry about backup, since Zuko will be their backup. So they start to fight, catch the attention of the white tiger. No, it was a lion, huge as lion, coming in, was trying to attack. Right when they got into range, all of them do their most powerful spells and destroying the very monster. They ask what happened to the beast and ask if it was Zuko who did that. Zuko, on the other side, looking away and looked like he's preparing a spell for something else. When they ask if Zuko did something, which put him off balance and forgetting about the spell, and asking, what? Did something happen? As they learned that Zuko did not do anything, and Shin did not do anything, and Shin explained that they did it themselves. Wow. Them. I messed that word up. Great. They're very shocked and learn that themselves are very strong and powerful to be able to do something like that. So everybody else that's very powerful with offense, magic abilities, that they can do it themselves. So they went wild and rampant throughout the whole forest in that area. They kind of feel bad that they did most of it afterwards. And one of them see that the one in the dark brown hair was holding Shin's sword. And then the one in the tall blonde hair ask why he gets to use it instead of him, and he wants to use it, all this other stuff, and Shin was getting complained to about that. All right, here we go. My arm hurts. Sorry. Here we go. So the next day comes and they get to do the same thing. But this time Zuko's in the background and just preparing a certain spell. And he's trying to mold with clay instead of just earth. And he's doing this the whole time. And Maria saw him doing it, said goodbye when she went off to train. When she came back, he was still doing the same thing as always. She finally asked him what he's doing, and Zuko said, well, you see, it's like the sculpture, but I'm trying to make it move by itself. And Maria said, like a twin, or like your brother, or what do you mean like move? And Zuko said, well, like move, have its own brain of its own, to move on its own and not be a clay as well being a clay, which is confusing to her. But Zuko is trying to figure out how to make an object become a living thing, making an earth clone, you may say. But Zuko will not be able to figure that out for a long time. Moving on to the next scene. They're over at the castle, and August, finally got his name, is coming up and trying to become the next ruler, kind of a celebration for his 15 years of being a prince and how great he is. Was sadly interrupted by a messenger that they were taken over by a bunch of eat devil, which and beast man. I forgot what they're called. Devil. Yep, I actually forgot their names. Demonoids. There was demonoids overtaken a whole stronghold and asked for help. Everybody is in panic, and August came by and told that there's a special force of his classmates and the teacher of that very class has been teaching us to use magic in more powerful ways. As he points over to August and Zuko. Zuko immediately turns himself invisible, so the only one that's seen there is Shin. Shin looks over to his brother, knows that he's there, and kind of show him the bird, but only in a fist form, as he was taken up to the front. Had to speak, and he made up the ultimate magician's defense group. And he thought that everybody hated it, but they started to like it. But only his classmates hated it, but the one girl that liked it. And Zuko, as well as August, laughed about it because it was a stupid name. And Shin will never be able to let that thing down. Shin and everybody else show off. Well, August told them to show off for how powerful they really are. So Zuko and Shin agreed and took flight and flew over the castle over to the area. Moving on, it is exactly the same. The demonoids are taking over the city, killing many of them, and of course pushing through. Should I or shouldn't I? As they're in mid-flight and going over to the city that's being taken over, Zuko and Shin is up front further away to make a game plan about it. Zuko offers that he'll be in the outer wall, protecting any of the civilians and making sure that they get out safely, and making sure that the wall will not break down if anything has happened. While Shin will be in the middle and taking care of all the demonoids. Zuko doesn't like fighting as much, but he likes to repair, so that's why he goes. And at this time, Maria and Cecile talks about all these things, getting a little nervous about all this. And then one of the girls said, "Yeah." And well, she said that both Cecile and Marie would have been the only girls if Shin and Zuko wasn't here without husbands or fiancés. And Maria put herself down that she is not pretty enough like Cecile, as Cecile tried to cheer her up. But August is there, kind of teased them both that they found great guys and very powerful at that. So don't overlook what you have now. Who knows? Maybe someone will take them both away, which scared them both. That they want that they had to think of something to make sure they stay with them forever. Cecile has no idea how to do that, but Marie has a few ideas. Since she is, as she say out loud, one of the bolder ones here. And then one of the girls say, "Yeah, you might flirt with one of the other guys just to make Zuko jealous." And Maria said, No, I won't never do something like that," as she thinks about it. Moving on. Everybody, Zuko and Shin finally comes back and lower to everybody else, and they have to ask them for put themselves in teams of two, groups of two, and go out throughout the city and protect and serve. they agree to all of this. August gets Maria, and Cecile, with Bean and his wife, fiance, I don't know, stay back and protect the injured. They learn that Zuko's going to be on the wall duty, protecting and serving, helping, repairing the soldiers' equipment to help them go stronger. As well, as they're going over there, he's asking Shin to make some materials as he's making the rings, enchantments, to be a little more powerful to go up, to boost up all the soldiers' magic. Moving over, and it started. Everybody in their own groups have done their greatest and a little bit better because of Zuko's training, them seeing the smaller details on things. All the way till where August and Maria going against this one guy and treating her as if she's just a meat shield. Well, meat some sort of device. How do I say it? That he only see her as a girl and nothing else. More like property. So he's offering her to be with him for all time, and he'll make sure she feels nice throughout the rest of his life and hers. As she appreciate the offer, but she did not politely. She aggressively turned him down, saying that her boyfriend will easily take him down, and everybody of your city friends down as well. He gets a little pissed that a little girl would say something like that to him and tried to offer and throw a huge fireball at her. She blocked it, commenting that he's such a weak man that he had to fight and throw a huge fireball for something so small. As August comment that it could be very small, as he showed a pinky. As they both laughed and making him enraged, not focusing on the magic item that he's using, turning it to break, and they both shocked them with fire at the same time, knocking him out, seemingly dead. On this show, it actually kills people. Now, moving over, Zuko is protecting the wall. He's repairing everything of the wall, making sure it stays still. And he's going to each and every soldier and learning that they all escaped and went down to the base. So he's making sure that no one is able to come through on the outside. So he's preparing to make a shield, a barrier for the whole kingdom of that one area. Zuko is getting it up, but he sees a light blue flash. Moving over to Shin, seeing Shin, Zuko is using his special eyewear to see far away and see that Shin is enraged and throwing in a bunch of fireballs, lightning, everything that he has to all of these people that are surrounding him. It's a very enjoyable show, and he decided to record. Well, of course, he found a way to do it. Now, Shin, as he's fighting against all of these people, learns that most of the he started to fight against this one girl. Zuko check on her stats, basically how strong is her magic power, and learns it's almost the same as Shin, but not as much. Not easily to see. Shin prepares himself, fight against her, and she realizes how strong Shin really is. Art Strong was not lying about. He is actually this powerful. And she gets scared and decides to retreat as well as everybody else. Now, Zuko sees them leaving and tries to escape and As Zuko was preparing a certain spell, like he did in the training camp, he sees a light blue spell coming up. And he knows that Shin is about to do that laser. So Shin blew out a huge laser, killing off every single humanoid that was on the roof, and more over passing the roof. And Shin sees that he's about to hit his brother, but he knows that his brother can take it. So instead of turning it up, he just kept going left. Zuko, he's pissed that his brother was going to do this, but he didn't have nothing to think. He decided to make a force field, but not going back at Shin, but instead redirecting it to any other remaining demonoids that were retreating as well. So instead of going straight the whole time, they're seeing like another kid in another blue outfit redirect that very power in a whole different opposite direction, hitting in more people. And to their shock, it kills off more of the demonoids that also try to escape in other areas of the east, south, and west walls, when Shin only target the north wall. After all that happened, Zuko directed up, telling Shin to turn off his power, which Shin did, and moving on over to the church that's keeping all the people that are injured. Cecile has been working on everybody, and when it gets to the last man, Shin sees that and starts to help. Zuko finally coming in after checking the walls and the buildings, any fires, and starting to make the weather. He's standing in the middle. Well, he goes over to the middle of the whole city. Basically, the castle will be there. Flies up to the very top, and a few people around there can see it, and was wondering if that's an enemy or a friend. When they see him creating a huge cloud that's all black and lightning coming out of it, it started to go up all the way to the sky. When Zuko threw up another lightning bolt towards the lightning cloud, it spreads all the way towards, covering every single inch of the city inside the barrier. Okay, that's new. Okay. And it started to rain. All the fire that was caused and all the people that was getting burned by the fire, the corpus as well, started to sizzle out. All the flame started to wince out perfectly. And when it finally calmed down, Zuko threw a huge gust of wind from his point of area and did kind of like a huge wind slash, almost like he's making a tornado. One single slash with his arm, kind of like a huge circle, pushing the clouds out of the way, all the way to the edge and making it disperse, and immediately disappeared. While this was happening, Shin was healing the man, and Cecile was watching all of this, as well as everybody else, watching Zuko defuse the fire that was causing a huge commotion and would have taken hours or even days to put out every fire, or even destroy some of the town. Seeing how strong that Zuko can be when he just wants to help. And most of the group is now together at once again over going to Cecile to help, but learning that Shin is taking care of everything else. As most of them say, you really pick a good one, you two. We just saw his act, and I can't even think of how he did that. As Maria said, if you want, I'll ask how he did it. As most of them said, yes, please do, please do. And when Zuko gets there, he immediately gets to the church, asks if anybody else is injured, and some of them are. So Zuko did some healing and repaired every injury to a point where they don't even feel the pain or where the pain was coming from. All of them said thank you, and they, well, asked if anybody else needed help. Zuko was doing this until he gets to his friends, seeing Shin talking to Cecile, and Zuko backs out of that conversation, thinking that they need a moment. He saw them kiss, and that'd be a perfect time to leave. He looks over to his friends and asks them if they need any help, if they have scratches, and how was their fights against actual demonoids. They say it was all fine and good, but they have one question, and they look to Maria. Maria said, I got it. Zuko, how did you do that rainstorm? And Zuko said, oh, I was thinking of making smoke first. It's in my hands now, as he's showing them. Then I put in water, but not a lot. Little, like snowflakes. Just a little bit, and then I threw it up in the air. As it was getting higher and higher, almost meeting to the clouds, I threw a lightning storm, a lightning bolt, as well a blast of water. And that activated every other cloud to do the same. I was holding it, and as well as adding water into it with some wind to make sure it hits every area. After that, I started it at the same time for a fire to escape. As he's explaining all of this, even the people in the background have no idea how or even able to understand this, and surprised that he is explaining it to the kids, and now they're like pulling their hands together and thinking of how he did it. Some of them are starting to make clouds, and Zuko's like, hold on, we're inside. That'd be a little dangerous, as they all disperse the spell. Afterwards, they're going back into, but in the cart, being pulled by horses, as Shin, Zuko, Maria, Cecile, as well as August, talk about the future and how it will be. As he said, Shin apologized that he wasn't able to take them through a gate since that would have been faster. As August said, I agree with that. So, I made a decree that you have to go to every single state, country, leadership, for this will not happen again. And, they agreed to this. As well as Zuko saying, I'm coming along. I don't want to stay there and just learn only a little bit. As well as Cecile and Marie comes by and asks to do the same as they woke up. Now that will be the end of this part. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day. And if you think that it's a final, it technically is, but I can add on to it since it's a isekai of some sort. I can add more into it whenever I feel like it. So basically, this will be an open-ended series, which means this one will be the only one that will always be going. Of course, it will be stopping for about a few months. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day, and I hope you enjoy. Bye.